Our next Zoom call is focused on the Michigan community and adult education leaders, Whitney Detmer, Ted Kroll, and several of their other partners. Joining this call is my brother Drew Spanding, who's also in Michigan, who I met through Zeke Hindle, also one of the founders of the Super PAC to get RFK Jr. elected. I met Whitney when I was in Dallas, Texas. Talk about the RFK Jr. connection. I had just got done walking from the building where literally JFK was assassinated and went to a hotel to charge my phone, the Marriott, literally in Dallas, downtown Dallas. And earlier in that day, before I went to walk to the building where JFK was killed, I saw these two women walk by in cowboy hats. I complimented them with their hats and they had great energy. And then later on, hours later, when I was charging my phone, they were literally on the same upstairs balcony overlook bar where I was. And we got to talking. There was a library education conference happening at that hotel. And we started talking. I let them know that I was doing work with Pineywood School. We exchanged information, and now they are our partners in adult education. Everybody should have the opportunity for education, even if they've gone to prison, if they haven't graduated high school. I got sick from Lyme disease. I missed all of high school. I made up almost 4 years of high school through a community education program here in Ocala, where I was able to get my high school diploma. And education's a big thing. And obviously being led at Pineywood School, this is more alternative education outside of just the world of elementary, middle, and high school. My brother, Drew Spanding, like I said, I met him through Zeke Hindle. He is somebody who's been with me since that meeting last summer. He also happens to throw events at Mar-a-Lago for President Trump. And on this Zoom call, I was talking about the social justice platform that we were launching, Big Picture World TV, on connecttoyourcity.com, which is also an OTT streaming platform. And I was introduced to the founder of that, Larry Witherspoon, by one of his basically partners who has a channel, and Dion Provit with DPro TV. And Dion was so gracious to spearhead me forward to get that channel launched with the help of Danny Falcone on June 6th. Where I sat down with Larry Witherspoon in Phoenix that day, and we proceeded to launch the channel. Since June, I have spoken in a manner that I guess has made Larry uncomfortable, even though it's a freedom of speech platform, because over the last few days, and we're here beginning in November now, but when I got to Ocala here, I realized our channel no longer existed. And despite it being a freedom of speech platform, with no phone calls or notice, Larry pulled our channel, most likely due to me going very hard against numerous celebrities that I know cause trauma and abuse amongst women, one of which is no longer alive, in Lacey McGee. And I also have been saying some things that are not very favorable about Donald Trump. I am an independent party. I do not focus on politics. I am trying to unite, not divide. I am going to speak up on things that I think are wrong. Has nothing to do with being a Democrat or Republican. This has made Larry uncomfortable. Our channel no longer exists, but it's not about any of that anymore, because all of the videos that we're streaming on that platform, well, you're seeing them all here on YouTube. The whole platform exists by pulling the content off YouTube and live streaming it for the world to see. There's plenty of OTT platforms. We don't need that for all of this to come to light. So I'm just giving a documented account of the up-to-date of what's happened, because there's a lot of things that I'm talking about that were connecting to what we launched on June 6th, and now that's no longer live streaming anywhere outside of here on YouTube. Education's everything to me. It is one of the most important things on planet Earth. You cannot have knowledge in something unless you educate yourself on it. Somebody else's opinion being told to you is not education. You have to teach yourself and gain knowledge from not only what you hear, but from what you actually educate yourself on. So I'm educating the world on everything that's been happening. That being said, this is a very insightful conversation. The work that Whitney and Ted and their partners do will connect to the work that we do at Pineywood School. And they said that they had been wanting to get Mark Wahlberg connected into what they were doing in adult education. I promised them I would connect them with Rasta Phil at some point. That has yet to happen. I hope it does now in the future, and also after all this is finally public. Eric Gardner, I'm talking to you. But yeah, this is a very insightful conversation. And then Whitney introduced me to her brother Logan, who created for us, which you can also see in a Zoom call, a few after this one, our amazing Big Picture World TV logo that has been in the right-hand corner of the majority of these videos. That's the rainbow with the heart. I give you adult education. Enjoy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. There's Whitney. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Give me 1 second. Let me let in Drew. Drew works with me, but he's in Michigan. And hold on 1 second.
Uh-oh. Is he frozen?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Sorry
Hi,
about
Drew.
that, guys.
Hey, no problem.
Hang
Drew,
on.
are you in Gaylord?
No,
I am.
Drew is. Yeah.
Awesome.
How do you know of Gaylord?
It's in my area. So I
Oh, no
cover
kidding.
all of Northeast Michigan. Like
Very good.
basically these two whole fingers.
Whitney's who I told you about, Drew, when I randomly, if we could do some introductions real quick.
Sure.
Whitney, if you could talk about how we met for the people that are going to be seeing this. So this Zoom call, and I have to catch Drew up on a lot, but I, with my friends and my family and partners, have structured the world's first ever nonprofit film studio. We have reached an agreement by the time this is seen and it's made public to acquire the Ocala Drive-In movie theater where I am building said nonprofit film studio called Lucelle Studios. That nonprofit film studio owns a for-profit advertising agency, real estate investment group, and management company, along with a couple other business verticals that I've talked about in other videos. So that's the way that the whole thing functions. And it's a lot more complex than that. But for the purpose of this, it connects to education because I went off and I built all this after reaching an agreement with Pineywood School to build a brick and mortar film studio there. So, a nonprofit film studio. It's literally to create an environment that I fully believe will set art free. And I launch on June 6th. Big Picture World Finds Justice TV, which is a 24/7 social justice streaming channel, predominantly at the beginning made up of a 24-hour pre-recorded live loop of all of the Zoom calls and leadership calls that I have had, and forming the Project Rise Partners group to form the alternative ownership group to buying Paramount Global instead of Larry and David Ellison. And I did all of that with Rasta Phil Thomas and Mark Wahlberg's inner circle and a lot of other inner circles quietly and anonymously. So that is a social justice platform and channel where I will be acting kind of like Ghost Adventures. I'll be going into dark places in the entertainment industry that I know exist and shining my big voice and spotlight on people that awareness needs to be made behind, that I am cleaning up out of our industry, quite frankly, so we don't have to wait until there's trials like P. Diddy and other things. And that platform launches June 6th, and it starts getting promoted June 4th on the connecttoyourcity.com platform. This Zoom call is part of that 24-hour stream, as are many others that Drew and I have had. Mr. Spandy and I have finished everything, sir, as you could tell.
That's fantastic.
And I want to give these amazing men and women some time to talk about the work that they're doing in the adult education space, specifically also up in Michigan. I meant
Love
to
it.
connect you to them back in the day, but Whitney, if you'll make some introductions for Ted and the rest of us, and then my friend Chris Gentleman, also his wife is in education as well. Um, Crazy fact about Chris, he and I met on an airplane when I was doing this whole adventure over the last year. But my mom was actually a teacher of his in the 70s before I was ever born. And I met him on a plane flight in LA. Really weird.
Oh, wow.
So it's all connected. I am putting out one more video. I've made a 6-hour documentary about life and legacy and where things get a spark and where they originate to. So we're launching all of this as an entity, and I can bring an ecosystem behind working in adult education that few other people walking on planet Earth have tried to put forward. So that's why we're here today.
That's amazing. Thank you. And we appreciate the spotlight too, because I feel like adult ed is often forgotten. And it is really important work that we're doing. But I'll start with how we met on a rooftop in Dallas. We were all there from Michigan for an adult ed conference, the national conference for COABE. And we had actually just passed by and saw you sitting there. And you said, "Where are you guys from?" I think I said Michigan. My friend Sarah was like, "Oh, Detroit." And we just kept talking.
Cowboy hats, and you guys reminded
Yes.
me of Sydney and her mom. So that's why I spoke up. I was like, "Give me a sign if I should call or not." And then you guys walked by, so it was crazy. Yeah.
It was crazy. So then fast forward, like 5 hours later, we run into him on a rooftop and just got chatting about what he was working on. We were telling him about what we were doing in Michigan as far as adult ed. Kristen and Ted were both there and we were just hanging out. So for a little background, I am the director of adult education for IOSCO RESA. And we are the service provider for 8 counties in Northeast Michigan and the fiscal agent for all 11 counties. And I am also the vice president for McKay, which is our Michigan Association for Adult, Alternative, and Community Education. And then Kristen was with me. Kristen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kristen Swantek, and I'm the director of the Michigan Adult Community and Alternative Education Association here in Michigan. We're a statewide organization whose mission is to engage in partnerships, provide support to our members, and advocate for lifelong learning.
And then
Ted?
my name is Ted Kroll, so I'm the director of adult and alternative education down in Livingston County, Michigan, so Howell area, Brighton area. And I'm also the president of McKay, so president of State Association. And then in addition, I work within Michigan Works doing workforce development, and I work with our juvenile treatment court within our county. So kind of work in a couple different realms outside of education as well.
You guys can talk a little bit about the work that you do in that space, some of the stuff that we were talking about that night that we were on the roof, if that's possible.
I'll turn that over to Whitney for a little bit.
Sure. So I actually, interestingly, this week we work with so many partners, Michigan Works, which is like the employment agency in Michigan, MRS, that helps with anybody with disabilities, the colleges, so many partners. And I think there's a misunderstanding that adult education equals GED. And we do so much more than that. So most of us do GED, but we also have adult basic education. So we pre-test students that come in, and if they're below high school level, we have classes that are actually at like third, fourth, down to kindergarten to help people learn to read or work on some math skills. We also do diplomas for adults. We've had people in their 60s that got their high school diploma, not the GED, but the diploma, which is really cool. And for some people, it's not even like to go up in their career. It's just a personal goal that they had.
Yep.
They're like, I don't want to get the GED, I want to get the diploma. So that is an option. And it's really exciting when people achieve that. Um, and then let's see, we do adult secondary ed, which is if you have your diploma already, but you need some help with reading or math. You can come to our locations and get some tutoring in that. A lot of times people will come if they want to like move on in a manufacturing job or something like that. And then my personal favorite that my program's highly involved in is the corrections space. So we are in 5 county jails, Drew, including the jail where you live. So we have a teacher that goes in there,
Very
and
cool.
we it's called HiSET, but it's like literally exactly the same as GED, but it's paper pencil. So to take it in and out of the jail is so much easier than a computer. And so we're helping these individuals to not only get that credential that they need to then get a better job, but they're working on resumes, job interview skills. And then we launched a new program over in Alpena, called Ignite. Have you guys heard of Ignite?
I've heard of the G League Ignite that Deke Bay used to play in, but not an education Ignite, no.
Probably not the same. So Chris Swanson, who is the sheriff in Genesee County, which is Flint, Michigan,
Mhm.
he decided to change the culture of his jail and focus on education. So we learned about that, gosh, probably about 2 years ago, and went to go visit, went to a graduation, which if you guys can get a chance to go to one of their graduations, it's very inspiring.
I bet.
So these are individuals who in Genesee, they're spending a lot of time in jail because their court system is backed up like since COVID, which is really terrible. But they are not just spending time in jail. They are working on GED, obviously, but when we went, the graduation was for people who had studied in the nutrition class. They had people that had learned to cut hair, like they graduated with a barber certificate. So we copied their model, and jails across the nation are using the Ignite program.
Mhm.
It's now trademarked through the National Sheriff's Association. But it really just
So cool.
means a focus on education. So, I mean, jails forever have had people just sitting there. And what
Yeah.
happens? They get out and they come back. So this really,
Cycle.
yep, yes. So we're trying to break the cycle.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
In
Where-
addition, sorry, can I add a few other things?
No, it's okay.
We do, most of our programs also offer English second language. So we offer courses for English language learners, integrated education and training, which allows them to be doing their learning while getting training and coming out with some type of credential that can be going. Whitney had a great program where they went into the arborist program, and they could be, work for like one of those big Ashland or one of the big companies that do the tree trimming. We also have programs where we can get our adult ed students into career tech ed courses. So they, like right now, I just had 2 students finish up in a machine technology class while working on their GED, had one doing mechanical drafting. So we're able to also partner with our school district. So I want to echo what Whitney's saying, is we hear so many times, and like when we hear some of the stuff coming out too in the budgets about like, well, it's adult ed, that the K-12 schools are going to do a better job. We don't need adult ed. It's adult ed serves such a wide swath of people, more than just the people who need their GED or high school diploma. We offer the training for the ending of that low literacy cycle, and it got massive impacts economically, which are hard to measure, and generational impacts as well, right? Because if you can tell your kid you have your diploma or you can get a better job, just the impact that has on that generational cycle is so important. So it's one of the things we advocate a lot about is it's not just the GED, it's not just low literacy, it's life-changing endeavors that are, we're able to make for our students. And one story, we just had a student finish up who didn't have his GED. We worked on his GED and he just got into the Marines. And he ships out September 9th. And without that program, and then he got job training in the machine tech class. So now he goes in with the ASVAB skills to go into something in the Marines in that machining and technology and tooling side, more than just going into general infantry or something of that nature. So, that's just one, we all have stories.
Yeah.
And that's just, so many stories that are out there,
And we have
really help.
we have teachers that are so compassionate and really like hold the student's hand through the whole process, which is hard to do in K-12 when you've got a caseload of 150 students. So each of our teachers has about 50 and they're calling and texting constantly. Like, hey, don't forget to do classes.
Yeah.
Do you need help getting your driver's license? We can take you over there. We just got a grant to be able to pay for people to get their driver's license because you can't take the GED or get to work without it.
No.
But Ted had mentioned the utility arborist program that was at Alpena Community College. And for adult ed, we can do the integrated education and training where we have adult ed supporting the college class and really doing like that hand holding through. And our 2 students that went through that last year were justice impacted students. And the one just won an award, our state of Michigan Adult Participant of the Year award. So he had started with us in Alpena County Jail. He was working on HiSET. This was before we had Ignite, so it was really just working on that HiSET, like the GED. He got out of jail, went to rehab. Our teacher also works in the rehab, so she was there right with him. He continued to work on it in the lab, and he was making about $11 an hour. I think he was working about 60 hours a week. And then he was also participant in drug court. And so the teacher stayed with him through all of that. He was in the lab one day and talking about how he had to go and like do logging for his grandparents, just cutting trees for them to like burn for the winter. And so the teacher was like, "Oh, you like trees? Why don't you do the utility arborist program?" And he was like, "Okay." So he did the program. It was 15 weeks at Alpena Community College. We had a teacher right there with him through the whole process. I mean, things like even going to Salvation Army or Goodwill and getting clothes for job interviews, the whole thing. Like they walked through the whole process. And he ended up getting a job, and he's now making more than our coordinator that wrote the integrated education training program. He's making like $25 an hour plus great bonuses, going from 11 an hour. And
It's amazing.
He's got a family now, so it's
I know a place with a lot of tree work if he needs extra tree work.
they're busy. Yeah. Northeast Michigan is
So, no, I didn't mean to
We've
interrupt.
all become like tree cutters over the last month and a half. It's been crazy.
I barely have talked to Drew since this storm hit, when I literally got rerouted down to meeting you guys because I was supposed to be with him. So it's
Oh,
been
wow.
crazy.
That was the day of the storm is when you were gonna come up. And I'm like, do not come
Yeah.
up. Something bad's
You're
coming.
like, it's frozen in real life. So
yeah,
crazy.
our labs were closed for 2 weeks. I just drove over to Gaylord. I live over on the Lake Huron side. So
Yeah.
I drove like the back roads through to Gaylord, and it's like kindling everywhere.
Everywhere.
I was in a meeting probably 3 weeks ago, and Consumers Energy was the sponsor, and they got up and talked, and they were like, "Do not burn. It's
No.
not a matter of if,
No.
but when." And Northeast Michigan will be on fire this summer.
I know.
I'm like,
So I wanted to update you guys. So we've got agreements in place verbally and control the land in a partnership in one of the areas to build a college of sports and media. I've been trying to partner with these guys, Full Sail, where I went to school. They don't even want to respond to emails about hosting events. So That's been kind of a years long process. So I went and I identified not only partners, but iconic famous individuals to brand a college of sports and media with, having the media side be in Atlantic City, New Jersey, having the sports side be in Georgia. And I have stepped forward into this. We have with everybody. So we're launching all this. And then my next focus is getting the College of Sports and Media side cooking. As somebody who went to an alternative college in Full Sail myself, and also being somebody who finished high school not in the alternative manner either, and going to the basically essentially it was the hospital for homebound education from having Lyme disease, where I made up almost 4 years in a year and a half at the Marion County Adult Education Center, and then parlayed that into going to Full Sail, and then the film career that I've now had for 20 years that's resulted in all of this. So as somebody who did not even have a basically normal high school experience, much less a bachelor's college diploma, and still went off in business and put together multi-billion-dollar ownership groups. I'm kind of a walking testament not only to what could be done in the film industry, but the world of education if you don't go the normal high school route as well. So you see, I've come to understand the way the creator has shaped my life into being a beacon for many things and many beliefs in people that are suppressed or in situations that they don't quite understand. So I would like for you guys, Whitney and Ted and Kristen, right? Did I, right?
You got
Okay.
it. Good
I'm
job.
good with the names, but I store a lot of them up here. I would like for you guys to not only be on our leadership group as it relates to what we're stepping into with building this college, but potentially help us structure that out, because also this one's going to be a little different because it's not going to be necessarily a for-profit college, because all the people that come to go to our college get to participate in the other business verticals that we have through our nonprofit. Drew, I really figured out how to scramble the matrix. So that being said, I just want to start getting you guys in the loop per se on what we're doing. You'll be able to see this Zoom as part of many others, because this will be the first ever real college directly connected to any type of film studio environment, to where it literally creates an incubator ecosystem that I hope produces people out into multiple business lanes and verticals. That isn't just, oh, when I graduate college, where am I going to get a job at and go work at? Well, we've built something that's not only self-sustainable, completely rewrites the playbook in multiple businesses, not just entertainment. So
But
that's
I would
what's
think,
going on.
especially in the film industry, to
Yep.
get a job has to be insanely hard.
Yep. 100%. And kept out of the gates of Hollywood. So I'm picking the gates of Hollywood up and I'm dropping them in Ocala, Florida, where John Travolta lives, where I'm from, my city, my childhood home. I just brought Hollywood home forever, and it can't be stopped. And now I'm not just a filmmaker. Well, I'm in the distribution business as well, since we own the drive-in theater. So I'm going to be
Cool.
checking on box office receipts and keeping tabs on those studios a lot more than I used to. So I really got to play the game of life in a very interesting manner since I met all of you fine folks, especially Drew. And Drew, the meeting that you came to for Lucelle Studios and our platform, that platform launches on the anniversary of Katrina, which is the end of August. So, and through the book Spontaneous Evolution, we are throwing a major telethon for charitable impact that begins July 1st. Spontaneous Evolution into a Loveolution Overnight festival. It's a 3-day telethon, 4-day music festival, and week-long film festival. Multiple cities. Already been prepping that. I've built a viral campaign to go and meet with Coca-Cola about who would I share a Coca-Cola with. Um, and yeah, I'm working on the final pieces to culminate that all forward, because we own the trademark on Pulp Fiction. which was an IP that was actually, now owned by Paramount, but they don't own the trademark. The alternative group that's been battling them own the trademark. So since one of my business partners has the trademark, I'm taking that trademark and I'm programming it behind building an RV resort attached to the Ocala Drive-In Theater. That's going to be a drive-up movie studio with the hotel experience and a couple sound stages built there that should allow me to produce Pulp Fiction, the anthology drive-in series, without Paramount being able to do anything about it. So, that's kind of what I have executed and stepped forward into. I am here in Miami to see my dear friend Paul Cuscieri, who controls that trademark with Lee Kaplan, who is a pioneer in education and basically helped build the entire media program at FIU. And also one of the advisors to me in this. He introduced me to Malka Equities, who ultimately put up an almost $14 billion bid to buy Paramount Global. So I had to produce a journey and a story where seeing is believing with documented receipts and video accounts to prove that this group not only exists, it's the better group to run Paramount because we're working in spaces of education, amongst others. And I am done having to talk to everybody. Now they could just watch it on a 24/7 streaming loop that I'm pretty sure a judge in Delaware is going to see. And then we'll have a lot of different conversations about where the colleges are going to be because it might have Paramount behind it. But if not, it's got the world's first ever nonprofit film studio, which has zero debt, always will have zero debt, and much better ecosystem than any Hollywood studio bought for billions of dollars.
That's awesome.
And I
Hey,
I think
I do, Will, I do have to jump off. I've got another meeting, but I did want to ask one question on the call here. And in one of the things that, hearing the passion and understanding the value, obviously, of adult education. Where is the need right now from your perspectives
Good question.
on this call? Where is the and so if you're to look at need as like there's probably 100 of them, right? But what are those top couple needs that you guys face each day? Yeah, so that's my question.
Very good question.
So we're on the chopping block. The skinny budget federally that Trump put out is eliminating the WIOA Title II funding, which is about 30% of the funding in Michigan for adult ed. We get about 70% from the state School Aid Act. So we're same funding that goes with K-12. We have part of that for adult ed. So we can survive, but most of the programs in Michigan have been exploding in the last few years. We have pre-apprenticeships going, where we have students complete coursework with us and feed right into a registered apprenticeship.
Yeah.
We have brand new ESL programs that we weren't able to do before, tons of workforce programming. And if we lose 30% of the funding, we're going to have to scale back a lot of those
Scale back.
programs and
Sure.
serve fewer students. So advocacy, I would say, is our biggest push right now. And we're taking these stories of changed lives, and really just like our students are there for us too, making videos, because their lives really are changed. Most of our students go from working like at seriously 80 hours a week. Most of them have a couple children. For a lot of them, getting pregnant in high school was the reason that they dropped out.
Yeah.
And they come to adult ed and fly through it because, I mean, everybody that we work with is smart in some area. You know what I mean? Like we find
100%.
what their skills are
Yep.
and really push them in that direction. So funding right
would
now,
say-
and if you'd
yeah.
asked me last year, I wouldn't have said that, but
Yeah.
it just came out and we're nervous about it.
Just advocacy in general, just getting more and more people to know and understand everything that's going in the adult ed world, because I think that advocacy opens the eyes for people to know and to see those stories. because I think that advocacy then hits on all those different areas of what we can do. And our national organization we're at, COABE, which is the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, they're our national advocacy voice. But I mean, that's the big piece, getting people to understand what we do and the impact that we have.
Okay, so advocacy, number one. Another question is on the spectrum of where you meet students, what is the kind of the top area of when you're meeting that student? Is that in that kind of 18 to 26-year-old? Is that how does the target look?
I would say it varies a lot from different areas, but I would say if we looked at our numbers, it falls in that early to mid 20 range. I think it's a lot of, they get out, you get out in the world and realize you hit a ceiling of some way, shape, or form, and I need a change, right? And so
we all feel that way at many stages in life.
Yes, but I think
but most people have some type of not most people, but yes, without any type of mentoring or backdrop of a network that you can lean on to help, you flounder through life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're catching these people who probably didn't, in some way, shape, or form, have something to fall back on when they needed help, right? They didn't have a family unit or some type of loving structure. Okay, that makes sense. Perfect.
Yeah.
So,
And Drew,
go
you
ahead.
hit that right on target. I
Yeah.
always say our teachers are like the mothers that
Yeah, they're the
students
parents.
didn't have.
Yeah.
Because like for a lot of us, we had parents pushing us. We had homes that had running water and food.
Correct.
And a lot of our
Yeah.
students come from really severe poverty.
Yeah.
And then we also have a lot of students that are dealing with drug issues.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of work in the space of like recovery-friendly workplace, really working with students through recovery to try to change their mindset and give them like that forward focus.
Yeah.
But they need a parent.
Oh, yeah, they're going to find it somewhere, and it's just a matter of which parent they find.
And Drew, I'm throwing a couple just things that comes out of our reporting system into the chat. Like, we don't like how you report our age demographic, but the biggest group is at 26 to 44, 25 to 44. But they don't really break it down for us. Like, is that 25 to 30, right? It's that biggest group, but then 19% kind of fall in that 19 or 18 to 24 range. And then you can also, I shared in there the barriers. So one of the highest barriers reported is low income, followed by long-term unemployment, transportation, learning disability, ex-offender, and then digital literacy. So just there's a couple quick snapshots in there of who we are.
I see what you're saying, because those are broken down into different subcategories, especially when you come into a learning disability like autism or something like that. And the student, and then primarily when you're looking at demographically, from what I hear, I'm assuming it's a little more heavily weighted male, but what is the male-female ratio?
Actually, it's a little bit more male, 52.5% male.
Okay. So it's basically 50-50.
Yeah.
That's actually fascinating. Okay, I could talk about this all day, but I got to jet. But
I do have to go.
Wonderful.
I do have to go too. So,
yeah.
So good.
Right.
I wanted to say one last thing. This telethon we're doing, I want to showcase you guys in it and the work that you're doing. The Troy DeVold Foundation, which is going to be the artist side connected to the nonprofit, that's going to focus on education first and foremost. We'll do a couple more of these calls after I get this launched and get into the specifics of that as the month of June rolls through. But consider this the beginning of this on the regular. And I just wanted to thank you guys, and I'll do an email and loop in Drew. I was happy I got him today, and we can keep this going. But this is a great start. And don't worry about the Wahlberg of it all. I know that's how we connected.
Yeah.
I'll get Ross to fill on one of these here at some point. And Drew's spoken with him a bunch, and we'll make some magic happen with you guys as it relates to that.
Awesome.
Well, fellow Michiganders, great to meet you, and great work.
Yeah.
Great
Thank
work
you.
too, guys.
Thank
so
you.
well done. I mean, thank you for I know the pay's not well, and you're working tirelessly to help a ton of people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
All
for
right, bye, guys.
doing that.
Thank you, Drew. Talk later.
See ya.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Whitney. I
You're
know it's
welcome.
just us. Close the circle. It's how it opens and how it starts.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of work to do between now and June 4th. I am wrapping up here in Miami. I've got to go back to Ocala. Then I am on my last bus that I have to take for some time. I'm going to revolutionize that industry too. But I got to go see my partner, Danny Falcone, who's also an incredible educator mind. Had the life of living in mafia waters at one point. Now he's been sober 30 plus years and has helped save thousands of people's lives. And so I'm going to go see him to finalize all of this. But I want to definitely have a partnership with you guys because we have founding roots in Michigan, obviously, with
Mhm.
families we work with, be it from Ohio. So it all makes sense and connects. Myself as well, being somebody who's a huge proponent of adult education, having been through those waters to get to Full Sail. And I want to definitely partner in the aspect of what's to come moving forward. So, hey, so we'll
Sorry
keep
about
all
that.
that forward. No, that's okay. Now a proper closing a full circle since I met you both. So, thank you, amazing ladies, for staying connected, and also Whitney for checking in because it's been quite a lot. I kept passing all these signs for Michigan State randomly, like in Florida,
Oh,
like
wow.
on ads or something, roads paid for, like going to Georgia. I can't remember. It was more when I was in Northern Florida. And you guys kept popping in my mind because I remembered all of our Michigan conversations. So thank you. And I'll get you guys links to everything, but this should be relatively public based on what we've put out there. And then moving forward, I think I'm going to be having conversations about a lot more than just the film industry because we'll finally be able to change some of these other vehicles and pillars of business that we're operating in. I actually technically know Drew because of meeting the guy who started the PAC United for America behind RFK Jr. So he Drew was having a meeting with that man's mother-in-law and came to one of these mini meetings that I was putting together that would have like 20 people invited and end up with 40. And we created all this leadership out of that and put money together to buy Paramount. Now it's turned into something even bigger, and I'm very hopeful and blessed. So, Whitney, thank you. Kristen, thank you.
Yeah.
Hit me up with anything, anytime. And then, Whitney, was it your family member who made like the logos and
The
the hearts?
stickers with the heart with the rainbow kind of coming out.
That's it. I need to connect with it. Was it your brother?
My brother Logan.
I
Yeah.
need to connect with Logan. I got to revisit something. I need a new logo, like relatively soon. I lost that text chain.
I
So
will
if you-
bump it back up.
Awesome. Thank you. Timing's
Awesome.
everything. So appreciate you both. Chris, call me later. And thank you guys very
Yeah.
much.
No,
Thank
thanks
you for all your
having me.
help with this. This has been wonderful.
I do have one question
Yeah,
Sure.
go for it.
for the ladies. When you're talking about 30% budget cuts for the not-for-profits, are you talking 20 million, 50 million, 200 million for you guys? What are you looking at?
It's what is 800 million? Is that the full amount?
I think it's nationwide.
Yeah,
No, I
nationwide.
meant for you guys, like locally, just with you guys.
So in my program, I run 8 counties. I have a staff of 18 now with some other special grants not included. So it's about 300,000 federal, 700,000 state funding, and then we have some other supportive grants that are supporting about 4 of our staff right now.
All right. So one thing you don't know about me is I used to run a $50 million operational budget here in Gainesville for the Salvation Army. So that when y'all were talking, we did a lot of out of the box thinking to fundraise that. Will, can you share my number with them?
Yep. Yes,
I've got
will.
some ideas. I did a $50 million campaign to reset our adult ed or our shelter program, and I'm also a GED baby, so it's personal to me. So it's kind of funny that I got on this call because I felt Will too, because I ended up getting my GED and being a high school dropout before I grew up and changed lifestyles. But I've got some ideas maybe that will help you guys not have to rely on the federal funding, especially that. I mean, I know it's a huge amount for you, but I mean, I'm used to seeing million, $2 million, $3 million line. So hopefully I can maybe give y'all some insight on different projects that work for us to help offset.
And
That would be
I'm
wonderful.
glad he said that. That's my thing, right? I want to do some films that are focused, that are literally funded by advertisers and brands because they have famous people and influencers in them. And then, like, damn near all the profits from those movies, right, go into literally the educational nonprofit. That then we're literally distributing those funds out to you guys, and it was almost paid by an advertising basically company to finance a movie, and then it's turned around literally giving into education. And then it's an endless cycle. I figured out a way to literally connect all of these things together, still accomplish what everybody wants, from literally advertisers making money, showcasing their products, the talent getting paid, the artists being happy, the investors making profits and returns, because it's not just connected to one pillar of business, it's connected to the entire ecosystem that self-incubates, publishes, and produces itself forward, and ultimately is all tied to education. So, and nobody can tell me it doesn't work because it's already been created. So
Well,
that's
and
basically the deal.
and there's multiple facets. Drew touched on it too. Of each one of these guys, finding that foster grandparent, a couple or foster parent is a very simple task once you know the guys and they've kind of been vetted and everything, to find what I called the foster families that support your teachers, that support you guys, and give them a long term feel. A lot of the drug addicts, a lot of the alcohol programs, they give you that sponsor, that you have that person that checks on you occasionally and says, hey, get your crack in order and stop doing that. Don't be stupid. But at the same time, with love, and there's a lot of people who still have good hearts that if they know how to, not will they only step up with funding, but they'll step up with mentorship for these guys.
Facts.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that. So Florida has such a strong recovery system.
Right.
I have a friend that has gone there, and then we have a very close family member who had gone for some recovery work and continues to go back every year. And the family from that church lets them stay there for like months on end.
Right.
And he'll bring his business down and do, like, he does landscaping, and
Wow.
that they have like literally adopted part of our family. This just
Right.
a random family in Florida. So
Wow.
kudos to Florida for getting that together.
But yeah, hopefully we can make a connection and I can give you some ideas that might be able to offset, and you all don't have to even worry about that federal funding, because 300,000 seems like a lot, I know, but it really is not.
Yeah, no, and that's just for up here in Northeast Michigan, which is really rural.
Right.
Well, I think the total amount, is it like 30 million in Michigan? I'm not sure what it is across
I'd have to
the
look it up.
state. We should know that.
Yeah, we should.
It's Kristen.
But yeah, no, I mean, like
I
I
just
said,
connected. Sorry, I just connected you guys, Chris and
Uh,
Whit.
yeah,
Oh,
so
awesome.
Oh,
Got it.
perfect. Thank you.
no problem. But yeah, just I look forward to talking to you guys, and we can throw some ideas out about that. Like I said, I've just, when I hear 300,000, even 30 million, I laugh, because I mean, I was running on a $50 million budget with 300 employees in 13 counties. So I feel you. And so that's why I was like, oh, okay. Cause thrift shops, there's the Salvation Army was known for angel trees, but we also did sponsor trees, which they could get a scan code, and each person in the program got a scan code, a QR code, and basically the families could adopt that person, and keep it in a Zoom until they were comfortable, or into a digital format. So there was a lot of options, and it raised a lot of money really fast. So
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, because even on our state funding side, we work pretty closely with some of our senators and representatives, and they are backfilling things that were cut from the federal budget. So things like school lunch that were cut. And so we don't know where we're going to land there either. So everyone in adult ed right now in Michigan is just, well, I guess across the country,
Yeah.
just
Well, part of the game. I mean, my wife is in the AP pool for the schools, and a lot of the money isn't going away; it's being rerouted, and it's figuring out where it's being rerouted to, and
right.
that's a big part of the game right now. Is everybody's still not sure? You know, food for you guys, that's the Department of Ag that just got really landed, but the problem is the state and then the counties have to fund from the
See,
Department of Ag.
all this stuff's crazy, man, when studios have billions of dollars. Like
Yeah.
film studios have more money than US government facilities to literally extend to communities and people. And the majority of the people that are literally providing the studios with that money are families that are not wealthy. So that being said, I want to take literally what the movie industry literally makes all their bread and butter off of, which is all the consumers and everything and the like thereof. And I want to reprogram and rewire all of that to be able to create a yearly event that can raise money to where the government is not dependent upon providing these things and helping people, but unified uniters and global leaders in entertainment that entertain people. If we entertain people, why can't we help people? Right? So that's what I want to do. And I have sacrificed my entire film career to do that, hung myself literally out there for the world to see, pushed a nuke button. And I'm going to keep pushing the nuke button on everybody who's famous that I know. I'm going to directly go with cameras and confront people that I know that have a level to actually unite a bunch of global figures and leaders forward. And I'm not going to shut up until actually people come together to do something to make a difference, because I'm done with all this. Because I watched it torpedo my life because I chased a never ending dollar instead of understanding how a system could be built and move forward that could actually unite instead of dividing people. So I'm doing that through the entertainment industry and the sports industry, where I have global relationships and influence. And I don't have everything correct, but I'm the only one, in my opinion, with some other people in this that are trying to walk and carve lanes and knock down houses, literally, and gates to get some noise made so people will wake up to everything that they've been living in for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 generations and how it
Yeah.
needs to change. So
Yeah.
sorry, I could talk about all this all day, like Drew said. I get fired up. This is something I get fired up now about the way that I used to movies. So
And I know, William, you said you're Christian, right? You're
Yeah.
really just loving your neighbor. Like,
Yeah.
if we all could just love our neighbors, but we know that's not how Hollywood's set
Peace,
up.
love, hope, prosperity, kindness, above all else, forgiveness. It's something I've been saying on these videos. It's as simple as that. Like the earth, we were put on it to literally be a peaceful, loving, utopian environment. And we've messed it all up
Yeah,
by
sin entered the world. Like, we know that.
100%. So it's as simple as that, man. It's all about love and forgiveness and kindness. And 10 times out of 10, the neighbor standing next to you on a street corner that you get into an argument with, you're directly connected to them in some manner. So I've started telling people, think before you speak and get an altercation with someone now on a corner in a store. Even if they're getting in one with you, respond and be like, we probably know a few of the same people, because I've come to see and understand that that's true. And I've
Yeah.
literally had to be homeless at points to realize that and be humbled amongst other areas. It's a whole thing. It's all connected. Look at how we met in Texas. It's a thing. So that's the work I want to do. More stages, more speaking, more leadership to bring people to a new understanding in a manner that I don't know if because people are just so focused on money, but people don't want to talk about how I'm talking, at least not the grand majority. So I'm going to keep disrupting what I think is a matrix that we live in and trying to make it a better one. Hit me anything or hit me with anything, Whitney, anytime. And Chris, I'll be talking to you. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Right.
All right.
Thank
See
you
ya.
for setting this up. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So nice
many
to
more
meet you. Yeah.
steps there'll be several more steps through the month of June. I just have to get to the end of next week. So, okay.
Nice
Thank you.
meeting ladies.
Thank
Have a great
you.
day.
Bye. God bless.